Good morning, everyone. Namaskar. I hope all of you are doing well. Let us start with a prayer. This is from the familiar hymn, Shankaracharya's familiar hymn, Devi Aparadha Kshamapana Stotram, on page 196 of the book, The Universal Prayers. The first one on that page, top of page 196. Om Namokshasya Kanksha Nacha Vibhavavancha Pihridi Me Navijnana Peksha Shashimakim Sukhecha Napunaha Atastaṃ Sangyache Janani Jananam Yatu Mama Vai Mridani Rudrani Shiva Shiva Bhavani Tijapataha Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. O Divine Mother, I do not have any desire for liberation, nor any hankering for wealth. Neither do I cherish any yearning for knowledge, nor any desire for happiness. O Mother Divine, this much only I ask of you. May my life pass in reciting the divine names. Om, peace be within us all. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Peace be within us all. Peace and harmony be amongst all beings. And peace be everywhere in nature. We just began the study of chapter 14, Gunatraya Vibhaga Yoga. This is an easy chapter. Much of it you already have known from other classes, earlier studies. So let us continue from where we left. Look, the real topic of three gunas begins with verse number 5. Chapter 14, verse number 5. The three gunas. The three gunas are sattva, rajas, and tamas. What are they, and how do they affect our lives, and how to overcome them, free from the three gunas? That is the goal of life. That was mentioned in the second chapter, verse 45. Trayigunya Vishaya Veda Nistrayigunya Bhavarjuna Nirbandho Nitya Satvastho Niryoga Kshema Atmavan. Bhagavan Sri Krishna said to Arjuna, Nistrayigunya Bhava, you become free from the three gunas. All and everything are qualified, affected by the three gunas in nature. Nothing is exempt. Human beings, good, bad, animals, plants, things, situations, food, everything has the three gunas, sattva, rajas, tamas. And as long as we are in the grip of the three gunas, so long we are not free, because they pull us in different directions. Especially tamas pulls us down, does not let us make any progress in any aspect of life, even in worldly life. If a person is very tamasic, he or she cannot succeed in worldly life also. So we have to become free. Once we become free from the sway of the three gunas, then we are free. That is liberation. All suffering, all limitations are due to three gunas, and these apply only to the body-mind part of us. It does not apply to the Atman, self within us. That is free. So we have to realize that is our true nature. We are that Atman, we are not the body-mind. To do that, we have to give up. You have to give up this being bound by the three gunas. Nistayagunyo bhava. Very important instruction in second chapter, verse 45. So let us understand what the three gunas are in the first place. So shloka number 5. Sattvaṃ rajastama iti guna prakṛtisambhavāḥ nibadhnanti mahābāho dehe dehinamavyayam. Sattvaṃ rajaha tamaha iti gunaha prakṛtisambhavāḥ, born of Prakriti. We earlier studied in this 13th chapter, we studied Prakriti Purusha. All of us are made up of two components, Prakriti Purusha, Kshetra, Kshetrajna. Prakriti is a physical material part. The body, mind are all parts of Prakriti, parts of nature. This body as much a part of nature as the table is, or as the tree is. It comes and goes, it changes all the time. But the unchanging eternal part within us, the Purusha part, the conscious part within us, that is unaffected by the three gunas. And that's our true nature. We have to realize that. So you have to give the notion that you are bound by the three gunas. Atman is not bound. But since we think we are the body, we are bound. That ignorance has to be given up. Sattvaṃ rajastama iti guna prakṛtisambhavāḥ nibadhnanti mahābāho. Mahābāho, the word Sri Krishna uses to address Arjuna means for a Kshatriya, the arms have to be very strong and big, long, because you have to fight. Mahābāho means one whose arms are strong and big, because they have to physically fight in the battlefield. In describing Sri Rama, Ramachandra Swami, one epithet that we use is Ajānubāhu. Bahu means arm, hand. Janu means the knee. Ajānubāhu means one whose hands are so long that they touch the knees. Normally they don't for us. For a Kshatriya, long arms and big strong arms are necessary. Big strong biceps and triceps because they have to use physical force. Those days. These days warfare is by pushing buttons. Those days you have to physically wield the weapons. The mace, gada that Bhima used to lift, nobody could even lift it an inch from the ground. So heavy. He was so strong. The mahābāho, Arjuna is called mahābāho. These three gunas, sattvaṃ rajastama iti guṇāḥ prakṛtisambhavāḥ, born of Prakriti, nibadhnanti, they bind. Bandhana means binding, bondage. They bind us, limit our abilities. They bind us, make us subject to all kinds of suffering. Nibadhnanti, the three gunas bind us. O mahābāho, whom do they bind? Dehinam, the indwelling spirit, they bind. Really, they don't, as if we feel the bondage, because we identify with the body mind. The Purusha itself can never be bound. It's pure consciousness. The gunas cannot affect them. But it seems that they are affecting him. Why that seems like they are affecting us? In the commentary, it says, as if. Really, it is not. Space cannot be affected in any way. They can't change its color, shape, size, nothing. Like space, Atman is free, pure consciousness. But because of its association with the body, particular body, it appears that space is limited to that one particular cup or container or pot. It appears, really not. That appearance of bondage is what is causing the trouble. So that we have to become free from the three gunas. Dehinamavyayam. The dehi is one who resides in the deha. Grihi is one who resides in the graha. Graha means house. One who resides in a householder is called a grihi. Dehi, one who resides in the deha, an indwelling spirit. Atman. Dehinamavyayam is imperishable. Avyayam means imperishable, cannot be changed. You can't limit dehi. But it seems to be limited. This is the big question of Maya in Vedanta. Why are we limited if you are the Atman? That question is a very hard nut to crack. If you are, other Vedanta says you are that Tattvamasi Aham Brahman. If that is so, why am I feeling all the limitation? Why should I suffer? Why should I all this good and bad? I should be free. Satchidananda, infinite, eternal. Vedanta says you are that. But I'm not feeling that one. I'm feeling only limitation body. That is because of the veiling power of Maya. Why Maya limits us? There is no. Next week we'll get the answer from Swami Atmajnananda. This Sunday, Atmajnananda is going to speak this weekend. And Maya, the enchantress, the great enchantress, that's the topic. So he will explain why this Maya makes us forget our true nature as Satchidananda and makes us go through the suffering of life. Anyhow, the fact is we are suffering. So to become free from that suffering, we have to become free from the three gunas, sway of the three gunas, which can be done. It's practically doable. A little bit difficult, but gradually, in stages, we can become free from the three gunas. That is the topic of this chapter. Nibadhnanti, guṇāḥ, nibadhnanti, mahābāho, dehinamavyayam, dehe. Where do they bind? In the body. Because we are so much attached to the body, identify with the body, we are limited. If you give up that identification, attachment to the body, then I'm free. I'm Atman, what can bind me? This is what Jnana Yoga says. Keep asserting you are not the body, man. I am the Atman. What problem is there for me? Body has problem. I don't care if the body has problem. If the cloth has problem, I don't bother. It doesn't bother me. If it is torn, I don't become torn. The body is just the cloth. That's what Jnani thinks. He's already free from the three gunas. Three gunas apply only to the body mind. Since we identify with the body mind, we also have the three gunas, suffering, enjoyment. If you give up that attachment, identification that I am the body, then we are free. Visray Gunya. Satchidananda. So Jnani takes the position that I am not the body mind, no guna can bind me. That is hard for majority of people because I'm so much attached to the body from birth. All of a sudden to say I'm not the body is not going to work. Long practice necessary. How to do that is topic will come in this chapter. How to become free of the three gunas. So nibadhnanti dehe, dehinam, in the body, the dwelling spirit seems to be limited, bound by the three gunas. Now, what are the three gunas? How do they bind us? We'll understand that in the next few slokas. We go to sloka number 6. See, in the previous chapter, verse number 31, sloka number 13, verse number 31, this Paramatman was being described, supreme reality, which is dwelling within us. There it says, in 13:31, Sri Krishna said, this Atman is anadi, anaditvat, nirgunatvat. The Atman is nirguna, free from three gunas. See, we were told in the 13th chapter, verse 31, this Atmani nirguna, nirgunatvat. But we seem to be bound. Fact is, we are bound. So that is why it is suffering. Why we are bound if the Atman is free? Vedanta says it's power of Maya, veiling power, covering power, and projecting power. Avarana Shakti, Vikshepa Shakti. Why are we subject to Avarana Shakti, Vikshepa Shakti? That is, Maya engulfs our knowledge. The knowledge that I am the Atman is covered by layer of ignorance Maya. Why? There is no answer. How to overcome? The answer is there. How to overcome the covering of Maya, gain knowledge that I am the self? That method is given throughout the Gita. But why it is like that? Why should there be Maya? Why should there be creation? Who can answer the question? Only the creator has to answer the question. So next week, we shall look forward to Swami Atmagyanji's lecture. Verse number 6. Tatra sattvaṃ nirmalatvat prakāśakamanāmayam sukhasaṅgena badhnāti jnānasaṅgena ca. How sattva binds. All the trigunas bind us, sattva, rajastamas. How each of them binds us, limits us, is being explained. How sattva guna binds us. Tatra sattvaṃ badhnāti, second line, badhnāti means it binds. Sattva binds. How does it bind? How does it limit us? Sattva also limits us. How does it limit us? Sukha sangena, jnana sangena cha anaga. The last word used in the second line is anaga. Another way to address Arjuna. Sri Krishna addresses Arjuna as a sinless person. Agha means sin, papa karma. Agha. Anagha means one who has never done any sin. So Arjuna is called Anaga. Jnana sangena cha anaga, sukha sangena cha sattvaṃ badhnāti. Atmanam badhnāti. So it means, the translation says, among them, tatra means among the three gunas, each of them binds. How sattva binds? Among them, sattva being stainless, nirmalatvat. Sattva is pure. A sattvic person remains pure. Externally, body, mind, internally, mind also pure. That is quality of sattva. It is pure. Nirmalatvat anamayam means free from a stain, sinless. Prakāśakam, it illumines our personality. If a person is sattvic, his whole personality shines. You see a dull person, tamasic person, is no glow on his face, morose or angry or sleepy, tamasic person. See sattvic person, bright, cheerful, positive, optimistic, energetic, enthusiastic, all sattva qualities. The sattva is being praised here. So first we have to become sattvic, free from rajas and tamas. Then from sattva also we can move forward to our true nature. We realize our true nature as Satchidananda. Sattva also binds. How does sattva bind? Though it is nirmala, pure, anamayam, stainless, free from sin, prakāśakam, illumines the whole personality, sattva, still it badhnāti, binds. How does it bind? Sukha sangena, jnana sangena. In two ways it binds. Sattva also binds. Remember that story of the three robbers who got hold of this businessman walking in the woods in the evening. They took away all his property and everything. And then first robber wanted to kill him. Second robber said, no, why to kill him? Let us bind him with a rope to a tree. Rajas binds. Third robber said, no, why to bind him? Let us leave him free. By the time he goes home, he will be free. So the third robber represents sattva. Sattva frees us from bondage. Rajas binds us with a rope. It ties us to life, to the world. Tamas kills us. So we have to first become sattvic. It shows the way to freedom. This third robber showed the showed the merchant the way to his home. Go to this way, you will reach your village. So Sattva shows us the way to freedom. Way to freedom means moksha. But still, in some way it limits us. In what way? Jnana sangena, sukha sangena. The desire for sukha, enjoyment, is because of sattva. We all have desire for enjoyment. Some more, some less. That enjoyment also can be sattvic, rajasic, tamasic. Some people enjoy sattvic pleasures, like reading some good book, story book or something, sattvic, no violence, no profanity, watching good movies, no profanity. Such movies are very rare. All movies have profanity and violence and sex and everything. But there are some movies watching like that. Sukha, that enjoyment is also due to sattva. That also has to be given up. True enjoyment is only Atmananda, only the true Ananda. Vishayananda is not true Ananda. So that is sattva. Makes us want to enjoy happiness. Sukha sangena nibadhnanti. How else does it bind? Jnana sangena. It makes us want to have knowledge, which is good also. Because knowledge is of two kinds. As we saw before, paravidya, aparavidya. Aparavidya is knowledge of God, knowledge of the self, our true nature. That is releasing, freedom. Freedom from body, mind, identification, all suffering. Freedom from all suffering permanently, eternally. Only pure Ananda. That is good. That knowledge is good. But knowledge of the world, which is of a temporary nature, and the knowledge itself is changing, and the object of knowledge also changes sometimes, and that knowledge that we gain of the world is temporary. In old age, we forget everything, memory loss, and it will only limit it to this life. Next life, it won't come to us. No matter how much knowledge a person gains of this world in this life, it will end with this life when a person dies. Next life when the person born, it won't be there. Again, you have to start from ABCD preschool 1, 2, 3, 4. So that is a temporary knowledge. Attachment to knowledge is also kind of attachment. Though attachment to paravidya is good, releases us from bondage. Attachment to worldly knowledge is kind of limitation also. Sukha sangena badnati jnana sangena chanaga. So sattva also binds. But we have to become sattvic, because sattva shows the way to freedom. If you gain self-knowledge, atma-jnana, or pure devotion, then we become free from all suffering, moksha, liberation, mukti, salvation. Everything will come. So sattva is good. First we have to become sattvic. Eventually sattva also has to be left behind. We'll come to that later. Now how rajas binds is explained in the next verse. Sloka number 7. Rajas, how does it bind? This we can understand easily, how rajas binds. Rajo ragatmakam vidhi तृष्णासङ्गसमुद्भवम् तन्निबध्नाति कौन्तेय कर्मसङ्गेन देहिनाम्. Rajaha, Rajaguna, being described. How does it bind? Raga Atmakam is born of attachment. Raga means attachment to everything. That we studied in the second chapter, verses 62, 63. How attachment comes. For example, I see this cup of juice here. It was not there, so I didn't see anything. Now it is kept there, I see that one. That's all. Or even if before seeing that, I think about that. Supposing cup is not there, I'm not seeing the cup. I think about it. A cup of juice will be nice, or a cup of tea will be nice. Just a thought creates attachment. Then attachment seeks the object. Oh, I ask somebody to please bring me a cup of tea or juice or something. First thought, then visual contact, seeing, then physical contact, touching, and then tasting. Then how attachment, then become attachment. Desire comes. So where was this? Where did we study all this before? Second chapter, two shlokas, 62, 63, especially 62. How does desire attachment come to the mind in the first place? How does desire arise in our mind? Very big analysis, psychological analysis Krishna has made in this verse 62 of second chapter. Long time ago we studied, we have to remember that one. There Sri Krishna says, Dhyayato Vishayan Pumsaha Sangasteshu Pajayate. Dhyana means thinking. Very good. Thinking, Vishaya means subject, any object. Vishaya means object. Any object can be a person who is not there physically. No object is not there right now. Only thinking, thought is there. I'm sitting here, but somebody is in India. I think about that person. How nice it will be if I can visit that person, or if that person can visit me. Thought comes. Thought comes from two sources. Thought comes from internal earlier samskara. I had seen that person before. That memory is there. I felt good when I saw that person. So that thought will come from the memory is already there. Samskara is already there. Impression already there. From the internal resources of the mind, stored impression, thought will come to the mind, though that person is not there. The second source of thought is the object is there. I see something, then I become attached to it. Walking through the mall, and the shops are displaying so many things in their windows. In store windows, you see things are being displayed. Some electronic gadgets are there, some new cell phone is there, some appliance is there, or some nice big winter coat is there, mink coat, $15,000. So I'm standing outside, and the object is inside, and the big glass screen is there. But still looking at it, oh, maybe nice. It is nice if I can have this new cell phone. This cell phone I was very old. This is new one, has new features. Like the desire. Desire comes from seeing an object. External stimulus causes desire in our mind. Just because of rajas, we are discussing rajas. How desire comes. Desire comes from without any object. Desire comes from within our mind. Earlier memories. I'd seen that someplace. I went to somebody's house. They had this new electronic gadget which could do this thing. It moves on the floor, and if you ask some question, it will answer. Some kind of a robot is there. They saw. If you ask the question, it will answer. I should have one that like that too. So seeing that object causes desire, external stimulus, or even there is no object, I can visualize it. Then oh, nice! It'll be nice to have seen a commercial somewhere for that robot. It'll be nice to have that one. So, desire comes. First thought, then desire. 262. You remember the sloka, very important sloka. Dhyayato vishayan pumsaha. From thinking, sangasteshu pajayate. Teshu means vishayeshu, in objects. Attachment will come. Sangha upajayate. When attachment comes, next step is desire. Sangat sanjayate kamaha. 262. Very important verse. From attachment, desire comes. Oh, I must have this one. Then the whole thing starts. If you acquire that object or seek the company of that person, whatever, then you will get fulfillment for some time. Then a stage will come, separation will come, because all associations are temporary. That object will be lost. Somebody steals it, or object is there, I have to leave. One way or other, separation comes. When separation comes, dukkha comes. Krodha also comes. When desire is not fulfilled, anger comes. Kamat krodho vijayate. Krodha means anger. Krodhat bhavati sammoha. From anger, delusion comes. When we become angry, we become insane. Really, we lose our sanity. We don't know what is right, what is wrong. We end up saying and doing things which we would not ordinarily do when we are angry. So where does all this start? Thought. So what is this due to? Raga. What is raga? What does raga do? Rajas. This verse number 7 we are studying. Rajo raga atmakam vidhi. Raga means attachment. Attachment came by thinking only or seeing that way. So it is because of rajas in our mind. We have a lot of rajas is there. That makes us, I want this, I want this, I want that one too. And I want to go there, I want to achieve this one, I want to buy that one. I want to build a bigger house, I want to buy this new car. All this because of rajas, desire, activity. I want to do this. New project, starting new project. Because of name and fame. If I'll do this, I'll be famous, successful, I'll get so much money. All that because of rajas. Rajo ragatmakam vidhi. No, rajas is essentially attachment. Ragatmakam vidhi. How does it come? Trishna sanga samudbhavam. It is a source of craving and passion. What does attachment do? Creates desire. Trishna means thirst. Trishna means thirst. Like when we become thirsty, we want to drink water. That kind of thirst for objects, experiences. That is raga. That is rajas. That is the effect of rajas. Rajo ragatmakam vidhi. Trishna sanga samudbhavam. Trishna, sanga, two separate words. It creates desire and attachment. Rajas creates desire and attachment. Trishna sanga samudbhavam. Nibadhnanti kaunteya. Rajas badhnati means binds. How does rajas bind? Karma sangena dehinam. Dehinam means the indwelling spirit. It binds the spirit or mind because in the form of karma sangha, attachment to karma. Want to do something. Unnecessary things people want to do because there's so much desire and restlessness. Cannot keep quiet and simply meditate for a few minutes. No, I want to get up and go there and drink some tea. Like that. It drives us crazy. Rajas makes us crazy sometimes. People do crazy things because they cannot relax. Relax, sit down, calm down. No. Rajas calms us down. Rajas means getting up, doing something. Necessary, unnecessary, good or bad, want to do something. Drives people crazy, Rajas. Really. You look at all the people striving for power, all Rajas, so much Rajas. So striving for money through immoral means, moral means, what will they do with that money? Cheating other people, cheating government, accumulate money, what will they do? That money will not go with us. Even if you have $1 billion, you can only use a certain number of dollars for your food and clothing and place of stay. Extra money will be in the bank in your name, but that will be in the bank. It will go to somebody else. So that desire for acquisition, acquiring things, doing things, energy, activity, acquisition, desire, that's because of Rajas. Rajas binds us that way. Does not let us remain quiet, peaceful. Now let us go to tamas. How does tamas bind us? In worse ways. Sloka number 8. Tamastvajnanajam vidhi mohanam sarvadehinam प्रमादालस्य निद्राभिः तन्यबध्नाति भारत. Tamaha tu, the word tu is there, hidden. Tamaha tu ajnanajam. Remember the word tu there is hidden. It is combined with tamaha ajnana. Tamastu ajnanajam vidhi. Tama is born of ajnana, ignorance. The cause of tamas is ignorance. Ignorance of what? Ignorance of our true nature. The greatest ignorance, biggest, we can be ignorant of worldly things. I don't know so many things that are happening in sports. Who got the gold medal in skiing? I don't know that information. There's one kind of ignorance. That is okay. That can be corrected. And even with the ignorance, we can live. Doesn't matter. But ignorance of our true nature, biggest problem. All human suffering is because of ignorance of our true nature. Scripture says, Vedanta says, you are that one. Vedanta says. But I'm thinking of embodiment. That's the big problem. It is one problem only. Cause of our birth and death. We will not be born if we don't have the ignorance. We were born because we had desires, ignorance. Ignorance causing desire. So that is the problem. So, tamastu ajnanajam vidhi. Because of ignorance of our true nature, tamas comes. Sarvadehinam mohanam. It deludes. Deludes means misguides us. This is the right way to go. Tamas makes us go this way or in the opposite direction. That is the power of tamas. Do wrong, make wrong choices. People make wrong choices in their lives. They get into wrong kind of relationships. Then hoping to get happiness from that relationship. What happens? Only misery comes. For few months, everything is nice. And gradually, their true nature will be revealed. And then hatred, misery, unhappiness, sadness, sorrow, separation. Because of tamas. Ajnanajam, tamastvajnanajam vidhi. Sarvadehinam mohanam dilutes all beings. We are all subject to tamas. Not in such drastic ways, many of us, moderate, nice people, but we still have some tamas in us. Pramada, how does tamas bind? Second line, verse sloka number 8. Pramadalasya nidrabhistanibadhnati bharata. It's a compound word. Sandhi, pramada, alasya, nidrabhihi, tat, nibadhnati. You see word tat there? It is because of sandhi, it is hidden there. Pramadalasya nidrabhistat nibadhnati bharata. That means tamas. Tamas binds us in the form of what is the bondage. Tamas creates pramada. The word pramada comes in many places in Viveka Chodamani, Bhagavad Gita, and other places. Pramada means forgetting to do the right thing. Aviveka. Indiscrimination. Being indiscriminate. Not being able to tell right from wrong. Pramada. And in the Mahabharata, there is an episode about pramada. You know this The biggest pramada is not knowing our true nature. That is true death. Death of the body is one thing. Only body goes, physical body goes. But pramada means forever we are lost. So we'll skip that Mahabharata story because it will take us in it will be a digression. Pramada means, for instance, with error, mistaking one thing for the other, not being able to tell right from wrong, not being able to tell real from unreal. That is pramada. Pramada alasya. Alasya means indolence. It says indolence means laziness, unwillingness to do any work. You should be up and active, doing things. But tamas makes us, I want to rest a little bit. Let me take a nap. This makes us the mind like that one. Instead of being active, we want to rest and take a nap, sleep. Pramada is nidra. Nidra means sleep. Tamas, sleep is because of tamas, not being able to get up early in the morning. That is a part of tamas. And be wanting to sleep all the time. Tamas. Ramadhalas nidrabis nibadhnanti bharata. So tamas means it makes us lazy, it makes us do wrong choices in our life and end up suffering, and it makes us inactive and sleepy. That is all power of tamas. Violence also because of tamas. Some people are very violent in their thoughts. South people are not violent, they are compassionate, decent people. Tamas people always think of doing something. He did this to me, I'm going to do this to you. That's tamas. We should not have that. So three ways, three gunas binding us different ways. Shloka number 6, 7, and 8. How these three gunas bind us. Then the next topic is 9 and 10 onwards. The three gunas have been within all of us. That we know from second chapter. All things have these three gunas at all times. Even now we have tamas, rajas, and sattva. But there is composition varies, proportion varies from time to time, from person to person. Composition, in some people, sattva is 90% sattva, 7% rajas, 3% tamas. Very sattvic person, holy person, absorbed in meditation, 90% sattva. In other person is other way. Sattva is only 15% or 20%. Rajas is 40, 50%. Rest is tamas, tamasic person. Rajasic person running about, doing this, doing that. Tamasic person sleepy or doing violence. Sattvic person calm and peaceful, radiating peace and joy. So that proportion varies from person to person. The good news is we can change the proportion. You see, within our hands. That's the best part of this chapter is we can all become sattvic. Give up rajas and tamas. Some rajas is required for activity. Keep as much as necessary rajas. Become sattvic and transcend sattva and go to liberation. That is something that is doable. Most of us, all of us can do that one. For some it will be easy, for some it will be difficult because it depends upon how much tamas we have, rajas we have. But everybody can do it. That is the topic of this chapter. So the three things are in a dynamic flux, sattva, rajas, tamas, within us, our personality. In the course of day also, one day also we can see it changing. When you get up in the morning, a little bit tamas is there, still feeling sleepy, want to sleep another hour. Then Rajas says, no, you have to finish that project today, get up. Sattva says, you have to do the morning meditation, I don't want to skip, let me get up. So like that. The three gunas are there. When you go to work, you're busy, middle of the day, you are very busy, so many projects, so many phone calls, so many deadlines. And so that is Rajas, lot of activity. We have to be active doing that. 10 different things have to be done. You have to attend a meeting. We have to finish that before attending the meeting. So a lot of rajas, middle of the day, work day. And then evening again, sattva comes. In middle of the tamas, sometimes you become angry also. You yell at the co-worker yells at you. You yell back. Tamas comes. When you come back in the evening, and take a cup of tea and relax and talk to the family, children a little bit, sattva comes there. Evening prayer, you sit down before dinner, sattva comes there. Predominant sattva. Rajas is subdued, no activity, only prayer, meditation, japa, then dinner, like that. So in the course of same day, the proportion of sattva rajas tamas varies in every person. That there is always, the three of them are always present in different proportions in different people. That is being explained in this next few verses. Sloka number 9. Sattvam sukhe sanjayati rajah karmani bharata jnanamavritya tu tamaha pramade sanjayatyuta. Sattva causes clinging to pleasure. Sattvam sukhe sanjayati. Sattva makes us want to be happy, enjoyment, power of sattva. Tendency. You can call them tendencies. Rajaha karmani bharata, karmani sanjayati. Rajas makes us active to do so many things we want to do. Some unnecessary things also we have to do. We take upon other projects also, which is not necessary. People have so much will, drive to do. Jnanam avritya tu tamaha. Tamas covers jnanam. Jnanam avritya tu tamaha pramade sanjayatyuta. Tamaha pramade sanjayati. Tamas causes clinging to pramada. Pramada means aviveka, making wrong choices, making errors. Sattva causes clinging to pleasure. Sattvam sukhe sanjayati. Rajas, two works. Raja karmani. Jnanam avritya. Covering the knowledge, self-knowledge, shrouding knowledge, causes cling to error. Tamas causes pramada, cling to error, make us do wrong choices. Tamas means viparita buddhi. Viparita buddhi means this is the right thing to do, but you do the opposite thing. Sometimes knowingly. This came in earlier chapter. Arjuna asked Krishna, why people make mistakes? Atha kena prayuktoyam papam charati purushaha. Oh, Bhagavan Krishna, kena prayuktoyam purusha papam charati. Impelled by what power do people make mistakes? Sometimes knowingly. Anichannapi varshneya baladiva niyojitaha. The shloka came earlier. Let me see the shloka number. I'll give you in a moment. If you go to the first line index, atha kena prayuktoyam atha kena prayuktoyam 336. Chapter 3, verse 36. There Arjuna asked this question, this because of tamas. Arjuna asked the question, oh Lord Sri Krishna, why people do mistakes? Sometimes knowingly. Unknowingly you do mistakes, but knowingly also sometimes you do. I know this is wrong to drink that's liquid, alcoholic liquid, but people end up drinking it anyhow. Or smoking like that one. Why? Atha kena prayuktoyam Purusha papam charati. Why people do papa? Sinful deeds. Anichannapi, though they don't want to do, as if baladiva niyojita, as if somebody is pushing them to do. What is the power that makes this person do ordinarily a nice person, but sometimes he ends up doing very wrong things? Then Sri Krishna's answer is verse number 37. Kama esha krodha esha rajo guna samudbhavaha. See, Krishna's answer is very nice. 337, next sloka. This is because of people do mistakes knowingly, sometimes because of kama krodha, lust, desire, and anger. Why kama krodha comes? Rajo guna samudbhavaha. Answer, rajas is there. See, rajas came there. Because of excessive rajas, uncontrolled rajas in us, we become angry and we have desires. Kama, krodha, both will come. Desires will come. Desires are not fulfilled, turns into anger. Then you do wrong things. This is the chain of events. So that is why here it says, sloka number 9, jnanam avratyatu, covering the knowledge we have. Ordinarily we know. Self-knowledge is there within all of us. Everyone has knowledge of the self, but hidden deep within layers of under layers of ignorance. Jnanam avritya. Avranam is covering that jnanam, knowledge. Tamaha pramade sanjayati. Tamas makes us do wrong things. Pramada means not doing the right thing, failure to do the right thing, and non-discriminating between right and wrong, real and not knowing what is right, what is wrong, is tamasic buddhi. That will come in the 17th chapter, 18th chapter. So that is the power of these three gunas. Let's do one more sloka. Number 10. Rajastamascha vibhuya sattvaṃ bhavati bharata. Rajasattvaṃ tamaschaiva tamasattvaṃ rajastatha. The conflict or the flux between among the three gunas in us. All the three gunas are always competing with each other within our minds all the time. That's being explained here in verse number 10. Rajaha tamascha abhibhoya. Abhibhoya means controlling, subduing rajas and tamas. Sattvaṃ bhavati bharata. Sattva is trying to come up in our minds. Tendency to become right and become a good person, lead a sattvic life, reach God. That tendency is there within us. Sattva is there. That tendency comes up to the surface, subduing rajas. Rajas says, let me do this one. Tamas says, let me sleep. The sattva says, no, don't sleep now. It is not necessary to do this one. Let us think about God. Sattva is there. That's why we are seeking spiritual knowledge. Sattva is dominant. Other things, tendencies, they come to our mind. Let us watch TV. No, let's go to Vedanta class. Sattva makes that makes us go in the right direction. Rajas makes us in the opposite direction. Rajaha sattvaṃ tamaschaiva abhibhuya. Rajas controls sattva and tamas. The three people competing to be at the top. Sattva wants to go to the top, controlling, subduing rajas and tamas. Tamas wants to go to the top, subduing tamas and sattva. Tamas wants to go to the top, subduing sattva and rajas. The three things are competing with each other in our mind. There's a conflict. We are not peaceful because the three things are not calm. Everyone wants to dominate. It happens in the workplace also. Three people are working in a project. Everybody wants to be the leader. Nobody wants to follow. That is the conflict. So rajas sattvaṃ tamaschaiva tamas sattvaṃ rajas tatha. Subjugating rajas and tamas, sattva comes into being. O Arjuna, subjugating sattva and tamas, does rajas do so? And similarly, subjugating sattva and rajas, tamas comes into being. So the, the dynamic flux is there. It's not a very calm situation. Especially rajas wants to take over, subduing sattva and tamas. Tamas wants to take over. Now, when does sattva become prominent? When sattva becomes prominent, what happens? How do we know that we are sattva is prominent right now? That being described in verse number 11. You can see that in a person. By looking at a person, observing a person, you can see whether it is sattvic mode, rajasic mode, or tamasic mode, by the way the person behaves. You can see if a person is sitting down nicely, calmly, smiling, joyfully, peacefully, then he is sattvic now. Sattva is at the top. Yes, rajas and tamas, but they are not active right now. Like that. If a person is running about here and there, doing this, doing that, pulling this, taking that out, and rajas, a lot of rajas drive some crazy, cannot sit down quietly. Tamas is dominant. If a person is sleepy, then want to get up, he has a lot of work to do, then it is tamas is dominant. We can see that one. In each one of us, we can see that one. So here it says, sloka number 11, very interesting sloka. When sattva is dominant, how do we know what happens in a person? That is a description of sattva, 11. Sarvadvareshu dehesmin prakasha upajayate jnanam yada tada vidyat vivriddham sattvamithyuta. Sattvam vivriddham. When sattva is vivriddham means when sattva is dominant, then what happens? How do we know? What happens to the person? Described here. Sarvadvareshu. Dwara means door. Dwara means door. Sarvadvareshu. In all the doors of our personality has how many doors? 10 doors. 10 or 11, depending on how we count. 5 of them are input doors. Jnanendriyas. Eyes can see the form, name, color, form, distance. Color, form, distance, eye can convey. Shape. Ear can convey sound. Nose can convey smell. Tongue can convey taste. And skin can convey touch. Hot or cold, rough or smooth. So these are 5 input ports. Bring outside information to the mind. So those are dwaras. The 5 jnanendriyas, sarvadvareshu dehesmin, in this body, asmin dehe, the 5 jnanendriyas, in them, prakasha upajayate, sarvadvareshu, in those 5 jnanendriyas, prakasha shines, all the shining brightness comes. What is meant by brightness comes in the sense organs? That means a person sees only right things, sattvic thing, does not watch all impure things, hears only good sounds, not bad sounds, does only good things. Such a person, you can see, personality is glowing. There's a certain glow in a sattvic person. That face is bright. The sattvic person face is bright, cheerful, conveying peace and joy. That prakasha means the brightness is there in that person's face, sense organs. Jnanam yada tada vidyat vivriddham sattvamithyuta. When knowledge, the light of knowledge shines at all the openings of the senses in the body, one may know that sattva is dominant. In a sattvic person, the person is sattvic dominantly. Sattvic is dominant in a person. You know what happens? Person is bright, cheerful, happy, peaceful. Brightness is there, glow is there. Some people you can see nice face glowing, a little smile, cheerful. In some other face you see like this. You can know something is wrong with this guy. Rajas and tamas, like that one. So that's the sign of sattva. Look at number 11. Then, similarly, when rajas is dominant, what can we see? How it is expressed? First, look at number 12. Lobha pravrittirarambha karmanamashamaspೃha rajasyetani jayante vivriddhe bharatarshava. When rajas is dominant, rajasi vivriddhe, when rajas becomes dominant in a person, what happens? How is it seen? Lobha, greed. Person is greedy. He has so much already, he wants to get more. Pravritti means unnecessary activity. Pravritti may be, I want to do something. No, restlessness. I want to do this, I want to do that one. Children are sometimes 2-year-old toddlers, they cannot keep quiet. They want to pull something, sit on something, or take this one and push it away. They're like that. And grown up people do like that too. They can't remain quiet. Rajas. Pravritti, arambaha, karmanam arambaha, beginning new projects. Necessary and necessary does not matter. Karmanam arambaha, ashamaha. Shama means shanti, calmness, peaceful, tranquility. Ashama means restlessness. Cannot sit down quietly, moving about and looking this way, looking that way. And some people in meditation, they cannot sit down quietly. They look at this way, who came, who is wearing what, who is sitting where. Rajas. Ashama spruha. Spruha means trishna, desire for doing so many things. Etani rajasi vivriddhe jayante. All these things are sign of rajas being dominant. In third one, we'll stop at 13. What happens when tamas is dominant? Aprakasho pravrittischa pramado moha evacha tamasyetani jayante vivriddhe kurunandana. Tamasi vivriddhe. When tamas becomes dominant in a person, what happens? Aprakasha. Prakasha means brightness. Apraksha means dullness. The body, face becomes dull. Apravritti means inactivity. Too much activity, rajas. No activity, tamas. Sattva is balance. Apravritti, inactivity. Laziness, doesn't want to do anything. Apravritti, these are people who are tamasic. They sit down watching a TV on a sofa, comfortable sofa, and then they fall asleep. TV is going on, they fall asleep. Like that, tamas. Apravritti, inactivity. Aprakasho pravrittischa pramada. Pramada comes again, means doing the wrong things, not being able to discriminate right and wrong, between right and wrong, real and unreal. Pramado, moha means aviveka, delusion, doing wrong things, wrong thinking. Tamasyetani jayante vivruddhe kurunandana. When tamas becomes dominant, these are the signs. So we'll stop. So what we have understood so far is, what are the signs of sattva, rajas, and tamas? And these things are varying all the time within us, and we can control them. If a rajasic tendencies, I can recognize being very rajas, let me calm down a little bit, like that one. If I'm feeling tamasic tendency, let me go to sleep. No, let me. It's not a good time to sleep. Let me do this work now. You can sleep later, like that one. One evening, Ratu Maharaj was dozing off in Sri Ramakrishna's presence. And Sri Ramakrishna rebuked him, mildly rebuked him. It is not the time to sleep. This time for thinking about God, meditation, evening you should meditate. And that was it. Ratu Maharaj said, I'm not going to sleep hereafter. All night he would meditate. Rest of the life, not once being told, rest of the life he followed the instruction. He'd catch a little bit sleep during the day somehow. Night time he would cover his body with a sheet. Everybody thought he was sleeping. No, he was doing japa inside. One instruction, once being told, person's life changed permanently. You have to be told 100 times. Our parents, you don't do this. Again, next day we do the same thing. Slow learners. So that is sattva. Let us say the closing prayer. Om sarve bhavantu sukhinah, sarve santu niramayah, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kaschid dukkha bhag bhavet. Om shanti shanti shanti. Om, may all be happy. May all be free from diseases and other problems. May all realize and practice what is noble and auspicious. May no one be subject to misery. Om peace. May there be peace and joy in our hearts. Adhyatmika shanti. May there be peace and harmony amongst all beings. No ill will, no hatred. Adi bhautika shanti. May there be peace everywhere in nature. Adi daivika shanti. Harihi Om Tat Sat. Sarvam Sri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu. All of you stay well, and God willing, we shall see you next week. Namaskar. Little bit over time, 5 minutes.